Hey YouTube, what's going on? It's your boy 30 here, back again with another thick, veiny video for you. This time we're doing a top 10 currently running action webtoons. That's right, the most convoluted title you've ever heard in your entire life. We preface this video by saying that Tower of God is not on the list. It is getting its own video. It would be on the list, maybe. Who knows? Maybe I think Bam is super lame. Anyway, let's get the list started with my number 10, Hardcore Leveling Warrior. Hardcore Leveling Warrior tells the story of Ethan, who is the #1 player in this game called Lucid Dream, which is the super hot VR MMO currently going in this universe, whatever. He gets killed by some mysterious thing, and his level gets reset all the way back to 1, and he vows to get his prestigious Epic Gamer God title back. Now it's very surface level analysis of the series, but we'll just go with there because there's no spoilers in this video, or I'm gonna try to avoid it. Hardcore Leveling Warrior I think drags a little bit. I think the characters are mostly interesting. Hearth Heater and Sora, 2 favorites. 2 thumbs up. It's pretty great. It's worth your time. It's very popular, very ongoing. You probably have already seen it, but if you haven't, check it out. Now, number 9, Revival Man. Ooh, I don't even know if this is popular. Revival Man is the story of this dude who revives 3 days after he gets killed, and he uses this power to sort of fight crime. Now, I think Revival Man is at least interesting in the fact that his power isn't really a benefit to him, really, because this criminal syndicate he's fighting at the start of the series kind of figures it out very quickly, and has like a counter very quickly. It's super organic in the way that they do it, and I think it's very well done. It shares a universe with that other series. What is it, Terror Man? I don't really like Terror Man, but Revival Man, pretty good. 2 thumbs up. Now number 8 here we got the God of High School. The God of High School, which is the story of Mori Jin, a 17-year-old martial artist who gets invited to join this God of High School tournament. And if you've ever read the series, you will know that that is the worst possible description of God of High School you've ever heard in your entire life, because only like 1% of the series is the actual tournament. That's called the God of High School. Like Hardcore Leveling Warrior, it is super popular, super long running. I think it slogs. I think it's a little bit, it like drags out a little too much like Hardcore Leveling Warrior does. If you like super long form action series with pretty unique art and cool fights, God of High School is pretty good. So number 7 here we have Gosu. Gosu is the story of this dude who has like this martial arts master who used to be some super evil martial arts god man, and he super martial arts demon god man gets killed by some people. So the main character, who is the student, goes into seclusion to train for like a whole bunch of time. And on coming out of seclusion and finally getting fully powered up, he discovers that all the people he was going to take revenge on are dead. So he has all this power, but no one really to enact revenge on. I think that's a super funny way to start the series. I think Gosu is super cool, super unique. I think the art is super great. The fights are super cool. The only reason why it's not higher on my list is because I'm not actually all the way caught up. I sort of stopped after season 1. I don't really know how season 2 is, because when it first came out, there was only text translations, and I'm not gonna do that. So for number 6 we have Dungeon Reset. Dungeon Reset is the story of this guy Dawoon, who gets transported into an RPG world thing, this dungeon where it's like a big game, and he gets transported with a bunch of other people, and everyone has skills and classes. His class is like builder. He's like a useless class. He's like the only useless one. So all he can really do is like cook and like make tents and stuff, sort of boring things. And as the team progresses through this dungeon or whatever, they like he gets stuck in a trap, and then they leave him behind as they finish the level. And so when he's stuck in the trap, he like glitches out, and then the dungeon resets, hence the name Dungeon Reset. And then a whole bunch of other new people come in, and then he keeps all his skills, and then it happens, whatever, it keeps happening. Dungeon Reset, I think, is super interesting. I think the art is crappy, but I think of the sort of stuck in a game world kind of series, I think it is at least interesting. I like where the story's going. There's not too many chapters, but it is certainly in the upper part of my list when I'm reading my weekly whatevers. So for number 5 we have The Great Mage Returns After 4,000 Years. I'm gonna call it GM4K, Great Mage 4000, because it is the most convoluted title of all time. GM4K is about this guy Frey Blake, who is a big loser, and it's about another guy who is a super awesome mage from 4,000 years ago. Super awesome mage gets killed by something called demigod, and super loser mage 4,000 years later, Frey, he kills himself at his magic high school because he is such a loser and nobody likes him. Super awesome mage's spirit gets transcended and put into Frey's body, where he is now in the world of 4,000 years later, where him and his friends are worshipped as deities almost in this magical world. Now, it kind of sounds sort of generic, but it is very, at least, interesting. I think that at least where the story's at right now, it is super easy to read. It's very engaging, kind of captivating, grabs you, pulls you in, makes you want to know what's going to happen to these characters. It's pretty good. I will say that, like, the interplay between the main character and his sort of like past self is very interesting, because I guess history gets some things wrong sometimes. Number 4, we have The Undefeated Swordsman, which tells the story of this boy, Sung-woo Mun, who is like super sick and weak. And then one day his parents get a guest at their little restaurant tavern thing, and he's like a super sage swordsman guy. And instead of paying for his meal with money, he's a huge bum, and he pays with like this painting. He like makes a painting. So the bum guy makes a painting and hangs it up, and he's like, "This will help your kid." But the painting makes the kid worse. All he does all day is sit around and stare at it. He starts to be known as like the village idiot. You know, nobody likes him. His parents feel bad for him. His younger brother is like, it's like, "Fuck you, bro. I'm going to martial arts high school." And but it turns out that this painting was actually some super secret cultivation technique left to him by the super Chad Sage guy. And one day he has his super epiphany, and he is actually super awesome at martial arts, and he doesn't even know how, because he learned from the painting. Undefeated Swordsman is cool. It's a cool idea. It's super unique. In the beginning, you really do feel bad for this guy. Like, they portray him as such a sad sack loser piece of crap, dude. It is so funny. But the character is pretty realistic in his portrayal of morality. Oftentimes these series have super idealized main characters, and I hate that crap. I hate that. He's willing to kill, he's willing to do what he has to do, and he doesn't go out of his way to be evil about it either. It's not like cringy or edgy. I think that, you know, Undefeated Swordsman is really good and like really worth your time. Number 3, we have Volcanic Age, which is like the story of, you know, kind of similar to Undefeated Swordsman. It's the story of Ju Seon-chun, who is like a super well-renowned martial artist. You know, he joins this sect. You know, he fights in these wars and stuff. He becomes a head elder of this sect. He lives a long, fulfilling life as a martial arts guy in the Miriam world. You know, in the martial arts Miriam world, he is like the dude or whatever. On his deathbed, however, right before he dies, he gets transported back in time into his younger self's body, retaining all his memories and being able to relive the world from almost from scratch. That's not a unique premise. I've seen that before, especially in Wushu. I will say, however, at least, you know, it's oftentimes this thing of like the character's like, "Oh, I gotta go to the cave on this date, and then the cave is gonna open up, and there's gonna be a magical sword, and I get it, and it's the super dragon sword." At least this one, as the series progresses, his predictions become wrong. Like, I guess his activities have a direct effect, sort of butterfly-ish effect. That doesn't change the fact that his cultivation techniques are still super beyond, what they should be, whatever. He still has cheats, but it's not, it's more interesting that he's not infallible. And for number 2, this is where the curveball gets thrown in, boys and girls and everything in between. Everyone thought this was gonna be number 1. You clicked on this thinking it was gonna be number 1. You wanted me to sit here and gush about this series, but I'm not gonna do it. Number 2, Solo Leveling. That's right. I think Solo Leveling is only the second best currently running action webtoon series. Solo Leveling is a story of a world in which these magic portals opened up and monsters come out, and the only way to close these portals is to go in there and defeat the boss of this like dungeon thing. So around the same time as these portals appeared, people started awakening, gaining supernatural powers, and it's the story of, what is it, Jinsu Woon or whatever. He super weak rank E hunter, like the weakest of the weak. He's basically a bag boy. He goes into these dungeons and he's like a porter. He's a bag boy. He holds the backpack. He gathers crap off the ground. So he goes into a dungeon and his party gets wiped out because the dungeon was actually more difficult than it was supposed to be. And he gets killed by some super evil statue guy. Super evil statue guy kills the crap out of him so badly that he reawakens and he becomes like a super strong, super powerful guy. It's okay. I can understand why people like it so much. It's really not my kind of series. The character is too cringy, too lone wolf, too OP, too like his personality snaps out of nowhere. He was like a super sweet dude before, then he gets power, and then he's suddenly like whatever. But it's pretty good. It's good. I love the action is some of the best. The art is really great. The sense of like flow in it is really great. I think it's awesome. I can see why it's super popular. I understand why people like it. It's just not really my thing. That's why it's only number 2. I will say that there is like a web novel that is completed for Solo Leveling, and man, the story gets pretty convoluted. Now we're coming up. Number one, my number one current favorite ongoing action webtoon extravagant. I forgot what I called this, but number 1 is Peerless Dad. Now, Peerless Dad is the story of this guy, No Gajang, who is like a regular mercenary martial artist guy. He got his ass whooped the first time he ever went out, and he's had like this inferiority complex ever since. He's doing mercenary work, he's struggling, he's living life. He meets a lady, he knocks her up. He has to do more mercenary work, to pay for this new life or whatever. Pretty generic at the start. However, while birthing his children, the mother dies. The love of his life dies, and then our protagonist No is left a single dad to these 3 kids, these 3 triplets. Now, I think that is super interesting. I don't think I've ever seen a manga, manhwa, webtoon, whatever, with like a single dad protagonist before. Maybe like a side character, always like a side character, but never like the dude. I think that it's super interesting having these kind of real world problems intersect with this sort of fantastical Miriam or martial arts fighting kung fu world or whatever. The characters are all awesome, at least the main cast. The kids, all 3 of the kids are interesting. No himself is great. Their nanny is so awesome. Super endearing, super sweet, but also like the fighting is super badass. Like it's like such a weird combo. Now, I know that this author also did Red Storm, which I did not really like. I don't really like Red Storm. I don't know what happened between this and Red Storm, but Peerless Dad is like 1,000 times better. Highly recommend it. Honestly, it should get its own video, but I needed something great for this one, so yeah, Peerless Dad, highly recommend it. It's amazing, And it's still ongoing, so who knows? Who knows? Maybe I'll make it Does It Suck one day and I'll be like, yeah, actually the ending really ruined it, but I doubt it. It's really great. Two thumbs up, 4 thumbs up, shaka bra, whatever. Hardcore, the best. Thank you for tuning into this video. Once again, my name is 30. You can catch me out on Twitch, twitch.tv/30sucks, where sometimes I stream. I'm trying to get good at Osu. It's not going super well. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Tell me your top 10. What do you like? What series would you take out? What would you put in? Do you disagree? Do you think solo leveling should be number 1, 2, and 3? Who knows? I don't know. You have to tell me. Once again, thank you, and